Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. Today we're going to be cooking from the Dishoom cookbook. You may or may not have seen a recipe from this already, but this is an actual recipe you can eat by itself. There's a lot of different things that I've had to make or will have to make to go into this particular recipe. So I've been cooking from it for a while without being able to eat a thing yet. But tomorrow we will finally be able to eat something. So in this episode, we are going to be making chicken Ruby, which is their version of butter chicken. We actually were able to visit Dishoom, which is a small chain of restaurants, mostly in the UK, I think. When we were in London, we ate at one of the Dishoom restaurants there. We did not try this, but I've heard very good things about it. And we always love butter chicken, so we're looking forward to it. But tonight, we need to marinate the chicken. So they said it started with basically tandoori chicken leftover, cooked in the Makhani sauce, which is like the butter chicken sauce, which we have not made yet, but we'll make tomorrow. So the marinade also has a ton of ingredients. Well, not a ton, but we're supposed to put this into a blender. There's such a small amount that I don't think my actual blender will work for it. So I'm going to try in this. What I'm going to do is sort of mix everything up in this bowl and then put it in here and try not to get it all the way to the bottom because it's going to be pretty thick and that's kind of going to be a problem. So anyway, in this bowl we have full fat Greek yogurt. I like the Cabot whole milk Greek yogurt. It's delicious and it's very thick. So that's in here. I'm going to add the liquid ingredients. So we have some lime juice here. Hopefully I have enough. My lime was not very juicy. We're going to call that basically enough. And then we also have a little bit of vegetable oil. I'm using grapeseed oil because that's what I keep on hand. Oops, it's a little too much oil, but that's all right. It'll be fine. Back. Fine. I don't need to measure anything else because I've measured everything else. I'm going to add ginger and garlic, which I've just sort of roughly chopped because we're supposed to, you know, whir this up in the blender and make a paste. So I didn't bother chopping it up too finely, which I may regret later. We'll see. And we have some fine sea salt. I have a little bit of the last of our Celtic sort of gray sea salt plus some regular white stuff. And then in here, I have the garam masala that we made earlier today, and I will link that up here. It's probably going to be a short. I have ground cumin, and this is Degi Merch chili powder. That's what this is. I think it's just a blend of different chili powders, including Kashmiri chili powder, which is why it's that very bright red. I'm not sure. I had to go to an Indian grocery to find all of the ingredients I needed for the garam masala. And he was like, that's just chili powder. I'm like, well, I know, but all of the ingredients, all of the recipes, not all of them, but a large number of recipes in this book call for this specific chili powder, which includes the Kashmiri chili powder. I have Kashmiri chili powder, but it is not sort of a blend that they include for you to make in the book. So anyway, I'm going to put all these in here. that's a long explanation for that, but you can probably use any red chili powder that you like. So there we go. Now we need to blend it all up. And I don't want it to be all the way at the bottom because I know that will be a problem with this particular blender. So I'm trying to do my best here. All of that. And I know I'm going to have to use my spatula and scrape it down, and we're going to hope this works. All right, that was very loud, but I did not have to stop and scrape it down, so let's see. Just had to stop and... Oh yeah, I think that is mostly good. Mostly. Loosened up quite a bit. All right. Put all this in the sink. And now I need to put this on our chicken. So these are boneless, skinless chicken thighs. It's great. You can buy them like that. I did sort of trim most of the fat, extra fat that's on them off and cut them into, I think it says 4 centimeter cubes, basically about 1.5 inches. If, like me, you do not do metric so well. And mix it up. I will probably put this into a zip top bag. I just want to get it mixed up right now. And this needs to marinate for at least 6 hours, up to 24. So when we're ready to cook it, we'll be back and I'll show you how we do that. So my chicken has been, oh, let's turn that down a little bit. Sorry. My chicken has been marinating for not quite 24 hours, and it's time to cook it. So I'm going to take it out of here, out of the bag, and put it onto a tray, a baking tray that has a rack on it. So hopefully we'll be able to get it off. And I'm just going to kind of arrange it all on here, hopefully with some space. I've got my broiler heating. So they say to use the grill. This is a British, well, British-based cookbook. And India was, you know, colonized by Great Britain for a while. So they've got a lot of that influence. And here in the US, I think our option there we generally call a broiler. So that's what I'm going to do. This is not a grill it outside. You could grill it outside if you really want to. You would probably want to put them on skewers just so you don't lose them. But we're going to do it inside. It's been a rainy, well, it's just rained again. It's been off and on rainy because it's North Carolina in the summer, and that is what happens. So one more thing before we actually cook this, we're supposed to brush it with some melted unsalted butter. I did line my baking tray with foil because I just don't want to have to clean what comes off of this, off of the tray. And we are using the broiler, so parchment would be a bad idea. Now, this says 8 to 10 minutes or until nicely charred. I think it'll take longer in my broiler, so we'll let you know how long this takes. We are in the home stretch of actually being able to eat something that we made from this book. So, it's been about 14 minutes. And I think putting it on a rack and raising it up a little bit higher has helped a little bit because we've got a little bit of char going on. So I think we're ready for this stage. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. I've got our Makhani sauce here warming up. I just had it on low. We just made it. Now, in the other recipe for the sauce, it says to not put the cream in until you're ready to assemble your dish. So I went ahead and did that. But this recipe also has cream in it as well, but it's a different amount, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to add it. What's supposed to happen here? I'm gonna add it because that makes the most sense, but it seems like a little bit like overkill to me. But more cream going into our sauce. Again, they call for double cream. I'm just using heavy cream because US. So I've added my cream to the sauce. A lot of fat a lot of the oil is sort of staying on top. So if I were going to make this again, I might cut down on that oil, but we'll see how we like it. And now we're just going to drop all of these chicken pieces into the sauce, and we're going to simmer it gently for 10 minutes. So this chicken should be pretty much done at this point, but we're just going to sort of let it marry with the sauce and cook in the sauce for just a little while. It says it serves 4, but it seems pretty generous for 4 to me. Generous servings. Simmer gently for 10 minutes, and we'll show you what it looks like and let you know what we think in about 10 minutes. On this episode of Cooking the Books with Heather, you watched me make chicken ruby from the Dishoom cookbook. So this was the first recipe that we actually could eat. So the previous recipes we've done, I think we've made the garam masala, which is a short, and we've made the sauce that you use in this recipe. And then we made this recipe with that sauce. So this is the first recipe from this book that we've actually been able to eat, and it was definitely a winner. Butter chicken, so their chicken ruby is basically their version of butter chicken. So it is not spicy. It has a little bit of sort of back of the throat heat, but my family, well, my children who don't generally like spicy things ate it with no problem. In fact, wanted seconds. I think they both had seconds. It was really, really, really good. The sauce was awesome, and I can't wait to try the other recipes that use it, but I will have to make it again. Not too bad considering I basically have all the ingredients now, so that's good. And the chicken itself, I think, so they said that it was originally made with tandoori chicken in the Makhani sauce, so I think the chicken is basically tandoori chicken. And I have made, not from scratch, a tandoori marinated chicken thighs before, and we eat those, we either put them on skewers on the grill or we put them in the broiler like we did for this recipe, and that's always tasty. And I do generally buy a large batch of those chicken thighs, boneless, skinless, cut them up into, bite-sized pieces, relatively large bite-sized pieces, like this asks for about 1.5 inch cubes, and then put them in the marinade and then put them in the freezer. And then I have an easy dinner at some point. So I had never thought of using those inside of the butter sauce that I had bought in the pantry section of the grocery store. But that is basically what this is. Usually I just sort of brown some chicken and throw the sauce on it and that's it. But I think those days are over because this was so good. My family will want to eat this again. And I think probably making a double or triple batch of the marinade might even be easier than making the single batch because I could use a larger blender and it might actually work better. So if you've enjoyed watching me make this as much as I have enjoyed eating this, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and come back and watch me make something else next week. Maybe from this book, maybe not. There's another recipe that I have heard is other people's favorites, but I haven't looked at the ingredients yet. I don't know if I have any of them, so I may have to go back to the Indian grocery store soon just to be able to make some more things. Hope you come back and watch some more next week.